Hello everyone, welcome to our Doctor Who podcast, Time and Space. I'm Oscar.
And I'm Logan, his co-host.
And today we are going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of the revival, the 2005 revival of Doctor Who, which are Rose, The End of the World, and The Unquite Dead. So let's just get right into Rose.
Three different episodes, all of differing quality, if you ask me. But
Yes.
Anyway, let's get on with it. And let's begin with Season 1, Episode 1, Rose. Now, Oscar, if you want to do a little background information on this episode, like talk about what it is and why it's important.
Well, this episode is quite important as it was Russell T Davies' attempt to sell us on the new format of Doctor Who, going from the,
quirky sci-fi drama, sci-fi classic that was the original show, and it was a hard sell, I would imagine, to like modern audiences.
Yeah, and you gotta. It's a bit of a change for classic fans because back in the day it was, 6 30-minute episodes would make one story.
Oh yeah, like I think it's like War Games, like Peter Troughton's final story was like 10 episodes.
Yeah, there was a lot of parts. But, to
a
combine
lot
that
of
all into
parts.
a 45-minute episode and a 50 to 60-minute long special.
Yeah, it's crazy to me to think that for Russ and T Davies was able to sell a good majority of people on this new Doctor Who in about 45 minutes. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, it really is. Guy should have. I hope he patted himself on the back. That's quite an achievement.
Oh yeah, like, say what you will about some of his later episodes, which we will get to. This won't be the last time I say that, just so you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so that freaking fact that you can't take away the fact that Russell T Davies is one of the most important figureheads in Doctor Who history, honestly.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, now I think we should talk about this first episode, Rose. So, before our most recent viewing of the episode, which for me was a couple days ago, Oscar, before that second viewing, what was your opinion on the episode?
Well, I remembered it being quite fun, actually. I remember it being full of action, and I remember thoroughly enjoying it. And
oh yeah, it is a surprisingly light episode of Doctor Who compared to what we would get later on,
Yeah.
But that's how you have to lure them in,
Yeah, it sells the show within the
It sells the show pretty much.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes you've met the Doctor, what
you've
he's
met
like.
the Doctor. Yeah, and that comes down to the brilliant performance by Christopher Eccleston, which,
as always,
as we go on in this first season, I have plenty of praise for Eccleston. I'm not sure about you, Oscar, but I'm sure you do.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. But for me, what I was thinking about the episode before the most recent rewatch was, this is just a really solid first episode,
Yeah.
And just really decent. I remember a good chunk of the parts to it, and I thought I was gonna have a really good time coming back to it, and I did, actually,
yeah.
but not for the reasons that I think I should have. And I'm gonna get into that right now because this first episode, it's not great.
Yeah, just to put it bluntly.
It's a very, very weak episode. And it comes down to the fact that, who is the... Alright, think about this. 15 years, or 10 years that the Doctor Who has been dead for, pretty much. Not on air. What is the first big villain that he's gonna come back to? Fucking plastic mannequins.
Well, to be fair, I had the same problem until I thought, it's not really about the villains. I feel the villains have to be there so you know how the Doctor acts
Yeah,
around them. It's
It's
more,
a backstage. It takes a back seat to the relationship between the Doctor and Rose, I think.
yeah, it's a character development episode where you
Yeah,
learn more
and
of them.
oh, and can we just talk about like Eccleston and friggin' just excellent on-screen chemistry between the two.
Billy Piper and Christopher
Billy,
Eccleston,
yes,
absolutely.
fantastic. They are really the heart and soul of this first season, and you can kind of see why that this show went on to be such a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's arguably, well, not arguably, it is Rose at her best.
It is Rose at her best, in my opinion, at least. Like,
Yeah,
you know, because we'll get into that. We'll talk about that later. But season 2 Rose is a far cry from season 1,
yeah. Well,
to say the least.
to say the least, she's kind of garbage, but you know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I guess what I do like is that I think one of the things that I like about the the Autons, I don't know how to pronounce Autons, being the first villain that Eccleston faces is kind of a neat callback to the fact that they were also the first foe that I believe it was, who was it?
Patrick Troughton?
No, not Patrick Troughton.
John Pertwee.
John Pertwee. John Pertwee fought in his first episode, which I think was a very neat little detail, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a whole, this episode it's strong. It's strong in the places where that kind of matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as a whole, when you're watching Doctor Who, you're not really watching it for the villains a lot of the time. You're kind of watching it for the Doctor.
Yeah, well, unless it's the Daleks.
Unless it's the Daleks and you're a filthy casual. Oh, man.
But yeah.
Yeah, but good episode. Decent.
Yeah. The
it's
comedy
fine.
worked.
Comedy works at points. Oh, and this episode, I need to bring it up. That something that you'll kind of see in this first season, and then it just kind of goes away as the show progresses, is just how unapologetically British the show is. You know?
Yes.
Like, you've got fucking Mickey going, right, in it, yeah. And like...
Oh! That
Oh my
reminds
God.
me. That reminds me,
It's
before
so
we go any
British.
further, one thing that I hated quite a bit about the episode was, one, the awful effects, but I'll give it a pass because it's 2005. And
2005, yes.
the whole bin scene with Mickey was just awful. And him
What
being
the hell were
plastic.
they... Oh, dude, I think I said this earlier, but, like, if I could have any prop from a movie or television, I want plastic Mickey's head. I want that prop. I know that in some, like, deep chasm, or whatever the friggin' BBC is working out of, they have that stored somewhere, and I want it.
We all do.
We all do. And, like, my favorite part is just how hammy the acting is when he's trying to, like, friggin', what is it, like, interrogate Rose into telling him about the Doctor. He's like, who is he? Where is he?
Who is he, babe? Babe,
Who
babe.
is he? Babe, 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 babe. And it's like,
Sugar.
sugar?
And I was just like, damn. That's
Damn.
terrible.
I don't know if it's like, when I was a kid, I thought it was like all CGI. Like that was him being acting there. But like, oh man, what an episode.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's strong in a lot of places, but kind of weak in others.
Yeah, like, how can the Doctor later, he goes up against the Daleks, but he gets held back by two Autons.
Yeah. You
With
went
his
out like a bitch.
Anti-plastic.
Anti-plastic. I don't think that's a real thing now, is it?
I don't know, he said it was.
And the Doctor is God.
Oh yeah, and might I say, the introduction to the TARDIS, on point.
Oh, it was fantastic. I really love this design because I'm gonna say Russell T Davies era is perhaps like my favorite incarnation of the Doctor.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it is arguably the strongest season of the show. Well, the strongest era of the show.
Oh yeah, like he knew what he was doing, I think.
He knew that show
But-
back to front.
Back to front, yeah, and it's like just so great to see that like sort of it kind of sucks to see where the show has like where the show would go
Yeah.
in some places. But we'll get to that. I mean, we'll fucking get to that. Good lord, this show gives me an aneurysm.
Hey, it picks itself back up a bit later on.
Yeah, it does. But
Then it
anyway,
drops itself on the ground and just
Oscar.
shatters the fucking earth.
oh fuck, we'll get to that.
Alright.
But Oscar, do you want to explain our scoring system to the audience?
Alright, so we have a scoring system of 1 to 10, but we thought that was a bit boring, so it's either 1 to 10, 1 out of, 1 to 10 jammy dodgers.
Jammy
Because,
Dodgers, a very famous scene from
Victory of the Daleks.
Three of the Daleks, yes. But I have feelings on that episode, and we will get to that.
Yes, so
Lord.
what would you give this episode?
Rose, I would give it a solid, probably a solid 7.5 Jammy Dodgers out of 10.
That's completely reasonable, I feel. I think I'll settle on a good 7 jammy dodgers out of 10.
Jammy Dodgers. And it's a Jammy Dodger!
Alright, you got me. It's a jammy dodger, but I was promised tea.
Yo, we should like, when you edited this in post, you should put that as like the sound clip that plays. That'd be funny.
I will.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on to episode 2, The End of the World. And do you wanna say something before I come in?
I mean, this episode's pretty decent. It's got Cassandra. Which drives me.
This episode, Jesus, okay. This episode, it's not great. It's really not. I'm sorry. It's just why?
For the Doctor's first space outing, it's a bit of a
Why?
like a stumble.
It's not a stumble. It's a fucking. It's like friggin' coming down to the final minute of an NRL game and just fucking kicking the ball out. That's what it is. It's not a stumble. It's a friggin' disaster.
I mean, I don't recall it being
Cassandra's
that
saves it.
bad.
Cassandra saves it though. I like Cassandra.
Yes.
Cassandra is great.
And she's the only saving grace of New Earth. Cough, cough.
Frustrates me. Oh dear, we'll get to that. What an
Yes.
absolute tragedy of an episode.
What a whole tragedy to 10th Doctor's first season.
Oh my god, David Tennant. Oh, I love him, but good lord, I hate watching that season.
God, he got done dirty. Except the Moffat episodes,
Yeah, Moffat episodes are surprisingly strong. But we're off topic here. Now
Yes.
continue.
Yes. So,
Now, before seeing this episode, rewatching it again, what were your thoughts on it?
I didn't remember much, honestly, except the pointless scene of Rose almost getting burned to death by, like, the sun or something.
Yeah, what was up with that?
It literally amounted to nothing.
What's up with that? She's like, oh, help me.
Yeah.
It's like probably my least favorite Rose scene in this entire season. Probably because it just kind of paints her to be this like helpless woman.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I found the perfect word. The problem with this episode is it does nothing.
It's pretty pointless of an episode.
Like, there was nothing happens of significance. A thing
It really
happens, Cassandra sabotages it and tries to kill them all, but nothing actually happens.
No, it really doesn't, and it's kind of a letdown because this sort of episode could get real existential for Rose, I think.
Yeah.
And it kind of tries to do that, where she's like, why would you take me here? Or like, whatever, and like, yeah, you were so close, come on, do a little effort, put more into it, you know what I mean?
I feel like it was more Russell T Davies and the BBC flexing their new budget.
Yeah, and it still just does not look good by today's standards.
I mean, it could be classic Who levels of bad.
Yeah, it could be, but at least with those ones, they had charm. This early season, when the effects are bad, they're just bad.
Yeah, you tend to look past them when the story's good, but the story just didn't hold
when
itself.
A story is weak, when the story is weak, you kind of just don't. Kind of like World War III and Aliens in London.
How dare you? How dare you?
Do it. Fuck you, it's awful and you know it.
How dare you? I will defend that episode.
Alright, we'll get to it. My initial thought on the episode was, I remember Cassandra being fun.
Of course.
Other than that, nothing. I don't remember anything from this episode.
That is completely reasonable.
And upon rewatching, I gotta be honest, I don't really remember any. Did you know that the Doctor has a pseudo love interest in this episode?
I keep forgetting about her.
Yeah, and she's like, you're running out of time, Time Lord, and I'm like, ooh, that is a Mexican soap opera line right there.
Oh, let's not forget that absolute bullshit of a scene of him walking through a fan blade.
I think that's a decent scene. I think it's fine.
I think it's rubbish.
Okay, alright, fair.
They didn't even explain what it was, he just walked through a fan.
I think it's trying to, like, remystify the Time Lords, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he doesn't do it again, like, he just walks through a fan once.
It's pointless, yes, but I guess I just like the fact that it tries to remystify the Time Lords as a species, you know what I mean?
That's fair enough, yeah.
And does it do that? No, it doesn't really, but the effort's there, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's not forget the hilarious scene right after, or before that, of the pseudo-love interest burning to death.
I don't know if they actually set the actual costume on fire. But like,
they actually burned her to death for that role. That's commitment.
She was just like, yeah, this is like I'm on Doctor Who. This is the only role I ever wanted. You can kill me now. Yeah. They just immolated her on the spot.
It's weak how the episode tries to make you feel sad for someone you met about 5 minutes ago.
Now, get used to that for Doctor Who, because it will do that.
Yeah, but the problem is they can do they do that a lot, and it works
most of the
time, because the actor behind it has charm, but this lady just
but didn't. This is just Wood Person.
Yeah.
I remember her have.
The funniest line they had together was, "I'll give you air from my lungs."
Yeah, that's my, friggin', what is it? That's like my pickup line. That's my go-to pickup line. My guy.
Yeah, mine too. And
I give you air from my lungs, and I just breathe on the woman.
And then they start screaming and stuff and asking.
It's like, yeah, has that ever worked? Has that ever worked? And
good old days.
No. Good old days before we had to social distance.
Yeah, before we had to do a podcast on a Discord call.
Yo, if we're talking about character making you feel for them, rest in peace, Adam, yo.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace is in jail, you know.
Oh, yo, we should totally get him on the podcast. That'd be so cool.
I'm gonna reach out to him and go, sir, how was it like? Did you try to assault Billy Piper on set?
So, Mr. Langley, how's it like in prison?
We'll get to that.
We'll make plenty more of those jokes. when we get to Satellite 5. Oh, that I cannot wait for that.
Oh, Satellite 5. Nah, I'm saving my opinions.
Oh, I'm saving mine as well, because I may have a controversial opinion
Oh no.
on that. Yeah, I may. But that I still haven't gone back and rewatched it yet. So
that's fair enough. I watched it the other day and yeah.
we'll see if you'll see if my opinion holds up.
Alright, we're back on track now.
Back on track. Anyway, I'm gonna give this episode, The End of the World, a 5.5 Jammy Dodgers out of 10.
Reasonable.
Jammy Dodger.
Before I give my rating, I must say that this episode does also deliver the Ninth Doctor's, well, one of the Ninth Doctor's darkest moments of watching Cassandra die and going, everything has its time and everything dies.
That's fucking metal.
And I was just like, damn. But, you know, that it shows right there, because if that was 10 or 11, they probably would have saved her. And, it just shows how
this is a Doctor right off the cusp of the Time War.
Yeah.
And
He's still basically
he's still a warrior and basically just yeeting like half of his all of his entire race off the face of Gallifrey.
Yeah, it shows, and by the end, you know, this moment by the end is insignificant because he has regained his morals. It's showing us that he's lost his morals and his way.
And he needs someone like Rose to help bring him out of the darkness, you know?
Exactly. And with that, I give this episode probably a 6.5 Jammy Dodgers out of 10.
Yeah, it's not a great episode. It could have been
It does
better,
its job.
I say the things that save it is just Eccleston's performance, Billy Piper's performance, Cassandra, and that final line with friggin' Eccleston and just letting her fucking die.
If her episode was rated specifically for Eccleston, it would be a 10 every time.
Yeah, for Eccleston, yeah, because he's just that good.
And you see, he's come back for the audio dramas.
Yes, I know. I can't wait to go and listen to those, man. They're gonna be so good.
So good. Glad he's back. Alright, the next episode we have is The Unquiet Dead, written by Mark Gatiss. He's a writer that shows up quite a lot for the next couple of seasons.
And this is his peak, right here. This is peak.
His peak episode, the first one he ever made.
I have a lot to say about this episode, probably more than you.
I don't know. I think Sleep No More might be his peak episode.
Shut up. Shut up, you whore.
Hey, we'll get there when we get there.
No, I'm not looking forward to it.
Well,
anyway.
What is your opinion on The Unquiet Dead? Okay,
before watching it for this rewatch, I did not think much of it because I usually skip it. In most of my old, whenever I would watch this show, I would get really bummed out watching End of the World because I'm just like, ew, no. I want to watch a good Doctor Who episode. And then I would skip Unquiet Dead and World War III and Aliens in London. Shut up, they're bad episodes.
How dare you?
And then I would go straight on to Dalek, which is questionably probably Eccleston's best, would you say? I'd say.
Best Dalek story. Actually, no. Second best Dalek story.
Oh, we'll get to it. We're going to say that so much.
Yeah.
But what was your first initial thoughts on it?
Well, I'm going to be honest. It's the only one I didn't really rewatch for this podcast.
Oh, you fool.
I remember a bit of it. I remember ghosts.
Okay, they're the Gelf, but okay.
And dead people. And Charles Dickens. Wait, it's Charles Dickens,
God. Right? Charles Dickens, yes.
Yeah.
It's actually Dahl's Chickens, to quote the famous movie Matilda.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, I think he's the best performance, right next to Eccleston.
I loved this episode.
Wow, a Mark Gatiss episode?
Yeah, a Mark Gatiss episode. I was surprised as you. This episode was really fucking good. And, like, I was not expecting it. Like, I went into End of the World with very low expectations, and I was still disappointed. I went into Unquiet Dead with low expectations, and I was completely blown away with how much I genuinely really liked this episode.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's really good. Like, friggin' Simon Callow as Charles Dickens is a absolute treat. Alan David delivers arguably one of the best lines of the show. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
Get in the hearse, girl. Get the hearse, girl. We're going body snatching.
Oh, and this, I believe, is the first episode they start foreshadowing Bad Wolf, is it?
Oh, yes, it is. I believe it was...
That, the girl that can
friggin'
read
what's-
minds or whatever.
What's her name? We'll just call her Sally Akins or some shit.
Fetch the hearse, girl.
Fetch the hearse, girl. Gwyneth, that's her name.
Okay.
Yeah. Gwyneth has looks into the mind of Rose and sees the big bad wolf.
Are you afraid of the big bad wolf, Doctor?
This is a brilliant, honest to God, I really like this season-long arc, honestly. I remember really liking it, at least.
Yeah.
This episode, though, is just fantastic. Oh my God. And, honestly, I'm gonna, draw a comparison because I think this is an early precursor to Vincent and the Doctor.
How so?
Well, if you recall in Vincent and the Doctor, it's basically taking the borderline suicidal Vincent van Gogh and just showing him that you know how he shows that people will remember him forever.
Yeah.
They kind of do that in this episode, which I was really not expecting. Like friggin' Charles Dickens is just like, tell me, Doctor, you know of the future. Do people remember my books? And he's like, Charles,
no.
it's just forever or whatever. No, it's not the friggin' Richard Nixon one.
Doctor, do they remember me?
Oh, Richard, they're never gonna forget ya.
Now tell me, Canton, is this girl of yours? Is this partner of yours black?
Oh my God, we'll get to Richard Nixon, and I cannot wait to get to Richard Nixon, because I cannot wait to do my impression. Richard Nixon, oh my God. But anyway, back on this episode, you kind of see a lot of the same sort of beats that Vincent and the Doctor kind of hit, you know what I mean?
Well, it is, they're both historical episodes.
Yeah, Vincent and the Doctor certainly does this better, but
absolutely.
It's worth saying that it is here. It is here, and it definitely did kind of go... It feels like it did kind of go on to inspire it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is just a good episode. I really liked it.
Especially when the Davies era had a big problem with historical episodes being just garbage.
Oh dear, we'll get to it.
But yeah, if you were to rate this episode, what would you give it?
Pleasantly surprised by this episode, so... you go first. I want to gush about it more when I do the rating.
Alright. I would give this episode probably a 7 jammy
You're a
dodges.
fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
7 jammy dodges out of...
This episode is a 9 out of...
Whoa!
9 jammy dodges. This episode is the first truly great Eccleston episode, and probably the first great Doctor Who story
Ever.
since since at least
the movie.
no, shut the fuck up. Since who's the guy before Colin Baker? Whatever.
Peter Davison.
Yeah, since probably Peter Davison, if I be real.
You reckon the Caves of Androzani?
Oh, shut up.
No, that is his regeneration episode, and it's critically acclaimed.
Yeah, I'd say.
Ah,
It's
yes.
it's pretty good, yeah.
Ah, yes.
I'm tired. I'm very fucking tired. I have been up since like 1 in the morning. Shut up.
Ah, no worries.
Yeah. But yeah, this episode is really good, and I'm gonna say it again. We go on to just complete shit
How
after
dare
this.
you? You know what? Are
Yeah.
you up to do Aliens of London and World War II? We've only
Oh,
been
fuck
recording
up.
for 30 minutes.
All right, I'm in. Let's go.
Alright.
Bring it on.
Alright, let's get started.
This podcast is running long. We're going on to Aliens in London.
And World War III. Now, let me
I'm
tell
gonna
you.
say something positive. I'm gonna say something positive first, okay?
Okay?
I want to start it positive because it certainly is not gonna stay positive for me.
Ah, okay. What have we
I
got to
do
say?
appreciate that throughout Aliens in London, that they kind of keep the alien threat off screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they do a nice. They wait for a good reveal. So many of these shitty Doctor Who episodes always begin with them sharing the monster, and this is what the Doctor is facing off. Ooh ah! Whereas this one kind of tries to build suspense,
Well,
which
you
is
only
something
get
I
to
can
see
always
the
appreciate.
Sylvain at the end of the first episode.
And what a reveal it is. Okay, we'll get on to that
Alright,
soon.
I'll
in a
get started
second.
because I like these
Mhm.
episodes.
You'll be the positive one.
They hold
Oh,
a special
God.
place in my heart. I think
Okay.
a lot of people don't like this episode, or these episodes, for obvious reasons. They think the fart jokes are childish. They think, it's just rubbish. But
It's arse.
I like to think that Russell T Davies was trying to go for a more like a subtle way of making a comment about politicians speaking out of their asses. Because politics is a big
It's not that subtle.
well, politics is a big thing in this episode. And
It's an arse wank. Just say politics are an arse wank.
Yes, I think it's a well. Everything the farts have a in story explanation. Calcium decay and
Yes,
stuff.
just because they explain it doesn't excuse
Hey,
the fact that it's completely.
Hey, they said one of the best lines in the show, and I quote. They said, "I'm shaking my booty."
Bad.
It's
so bad.
the idea of the Slovene as an idea and as concept and as execution, except for the farting, work really well, I think.
Okay. I like Harriet Jones.
Yes!
MP Flydale.
MC. Damn it.
MP, not MC. Is
MC.
she a freaking rapper?
Minecraft Flagdale North.
I like Harriet Jones, and I like the sort of arc that she goes throughout the show,
Yes. I think it's a lovely introduction.
and how the Doctor goes from being good chums with her to basically destroying her entire rep.
Yeah, and
I think
completely
that's-
derailing the timeline he set up as well. But,
Yeah, that's true.
But
it's like he says in one of the episodes, like, I think he says it in the Unquiet Dead, it's like, time is fluxing or whatever.
yeah, well, he
It's
goes
not a
on.
straight line.
He does say that, she's Harriet Jones, Prime Minister in the future, elected for 3 terms or whatever, and but he derails her on the first one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like. I think that kind of shows the Doctor to be like, yeah, I may know what happens, but I'm still gonna fuck with it, bro.
And then, yeah, we see what happens when he takes it too far a bit later, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. But this episode, oh my god, when the CGI kicks in,
yeah.
what the hell?
That is a problem. Now, that is a behind-the-scenes problem as well. They didn't actually know. They were so crunched on time, they didn't know when or where they were going to use CGI. So they just kind of guessed, and that's why them still static shots of them running through corridors are there.
Oh my god, they did a fucking Scooby-Doo moment there, my
Yeah.
guy. That was a Scooby-Doo. You never go full Scooby-Doo.
Oh, they did it in Love and Monsters, but you know.
Oh, yeah, I hate that. Oh, we'll
Another
get to Love and
banger
Monsters.
from season 2.
Oh, what the hell was wrong with that season?
Oh, it was cursed. Anyway,
It was
I-
so cursed.
I just think the whole invasion plot, it's something we haven't seen. It's an invasion. Well, we've seen invasion plots before.
Yes, but it's such a stupid fucking thing. Why would the UN give fucking nukes?
Yeah, if we overlook some of the stupid things, I think the invasion plot, which we have seen before, mixed with they've already invaded and they're throwing you off. You know, they're throwing the human race off.
The fucking, like, I just think the political commentary just does not, like,
It doesn't age well, but
it has not aged well because, like, we're less about that sort of stuff now, and, like, if you're gonna do political commentary, do it of something that's more, like, what's the word? Universal or whatever, or less of the time, you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's a big problem that, like, South Park faces, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, if we overlook some of the downfalls of the episode, I think I mainly liked the episode because I think it was just one of the first ones I watched. And,
Yeah, okay. Like, that's for me, like, Fear Her? That episode, Fear Her,
Oh,
I think
God.
it is? That
Yeah.
episode is not good.
No.
I know that for a fact, that it is a very bad episode.
Not as bad as Love and Monsters, but
No, not as bad as Love and Monsters, but Fear Her was the first, and I mean this, first Doctor Who episode I ever saw around the same time when it was, like, first coming out. Like, I vividly remember watching the show with my parents when I was 4 years old, I'm pretty sure.
no, yeah, so yeah.
And I still kind of have a soft spot for Fear Her. I'm sorry, I something about it just kind of works for me, you know?
Yeah, that's understandable. We will
And
talk about that when we get there.
We will, but I have no attachment to Love and Monster.
Oh,
Not Love
no
and
one
Monster.
does.
No one does. Alien, these two episodes, I have no connection to them, and I think I am glad not having that.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, the episode does land quite a few jokes that work.
I still quote, "Victory
Should be naked.
naked." That's one of the few times where the line actually works for me. It's like, I don't
The
know.
amount of times I burst out laughing during this episode was amazing. Like, Jackie is on top in this one. Like,
Oh, we haven't
it's here,
talked about Jackie.
It's here, the Slackeen.
The Slackeen, it's in my house. She's excellent. Oh, and can we talk about fucking Mickey?
Mickey,
In
the
this-
OG.
Mickey the OG, friggin' running away from the police. Let's go.
What
You
a
know what
pussy.
they do to him. You know what they would do to him, though.
Yeah. But Jackie doesn't get enough credit in like
Oh,
any of
she-
the Davies era.
Yeah, she's great, honestly. She's an excellent friggin'...
She is
Like,
hilarious.
Is she a comic relief? Would you cast her as that?
I'd say she's a comic relief.
She's fantastic as that, you know?
You know, there's
And
so
she's-
many quotable lines from her.
She's kind of like the, like, emotional core of Rose's, like, character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Rose could not give a fuck about Mickey. Let's be real
Yeah,
here.
that's the only thing I don't like about season 1.
She did Mickey dirty. Mickey was an OG.
Bro, and then there's even a joke in, like, the Doctor Dances or something saying, oh, you say you have a partner named Mickey, but you consider yourself single and ready to mingle or something. And I'm like, huh.
No, my boy, no.
Yeah, I'm like, huh. So you're telling me
I'm
Wes
so
Vessel liked
glad.
this character?
And I'm mad that friggin' Mickey ended up with the most boring milquetoast companion.
How dare you speak about Martha Jones like that?
Fight me on this.
I
Fight
will.
me.
I will fight
When we
you.
get to her, we will.
Martha had her problems, but they're all working for the show.
Oh, boring. We'll get to it.
Yes.
Holy shit, we'll get to it.
Season 3 is arguably one of the strongest seasons, but you know.
It is very strong. I like season 4 more, but
Of course. It's just... Oh, did you see that they might be bringing back Donna Noble next season?
that makes no sense, but I'm
Yeah,
excited.
No, I think they're gonna fucking run her into the ground.
That's what they'll do, because they did that to friggin' Captain Jack.
Captain Jack was... I don't even remember any lines he said in Revolution of Darks.
I'll be real, the only Captain Jack line I really remember in general is like, excellent bottom.
Excellent bottom. Don't worry, you'll have one too. I gotta go meet a girl.
Excellent.
Well, Aliens of
Episode-
London.
Episode bad.
I like Aliens of London. I hold it near and dear to my heart, except the pig part. That's not funny.
I like Aliens of London, but I have no time to watch friggin' World War III. In my world, the Slovene win.
The
Okay?
Slovene.
The Slick and Jackie dies.
No!
And also-
dare you.
How dare. Also, can we just bring up the fact that, like, they completely spoiled the second episode in, like, the friggin', like, next time on Doctor Who or
That's
whatever?
why I never watch them.
Yeah, neither. But I just think that's funny.
Yeah. Oh well. If I were,
Anyway.
do you want to rate? Give
Okay.
the episode rating first.
Alright, I'll give Aliens in London a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 jammy dodges.
What about World War 3?
Okay, I don't like that one. I give it a 3.5 jammy dodges out of 10.
Alright.
Because I think what kind of loses me on this episode is because I went so high after watching friggin' after watching The Unquiet Dead and then coming to this was just like, no.
Understandable. I think I'm going to upset with my ratings then. I think I'm going to give Aliens of London an 8 out of 10
Fuck out of
jammy
here.
dodges.
You gave it more than The Unquiet Dead. Are
And
you
I'm
kidding
going to
me?
give World War 3 an 8 out of 10 jammy dodges.
Oh, you just want to get me. No,
I
no,
genuinely
I hope
like this episode.
I hope friggin' John Barrowman and Bruno
No.
Langley come say hi to you.
No,
personally.
please, no. You'd never wish that upon your worst enemy.
No, I wouldn't.
No. No, but seriously, I don't know why I like the episodes. I just enjoy them.
I don't know either. By all accounts, it makes no sense.
I've just never had such a blast watching an episode before because, you know,
Ugh.
it's more of a comedic relief episode, really.
Yes, but it's just not that funny.
It's
You-
engaging. That is an
If I want a comic relief episode, bruh, I'll take like to laugh at. I'll take Love and Monsters any day.
Oh, but that's just boring.
Love and Monsters is funny, okay?
It's funny when
I'm
Victor
the
Kennedy shows
observable
up.
laugh.
Oh, it tastes
I'm
like
the-
chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
It's funny when
What
Victor
planet
Kennedy
was he
shows
from?
Clom.
What planet? I'm from Clom.
What planet are you from? We're actually Corico Feliptorius. Clom.
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 Oh, Clom. Clom.
Clom.
Clom. Don't think I've heard of Clom.
Ah. Clom. Oh, that
Clom.
episode. You upset me, Mum. Like, okay, she was
dear.
flashing her knickers at me, but okay.
Jesus, you need to be careful there, man. I thought you said the N-word there.
No! No, bro. She was flashing her knickers. You know, American slang.
I can't afford to be cancelled, Link.
I don't care. I'll say the end.
No, don't.
No, I'm editing this part out.
Thank God, okay. Anyway, back onto this clip that was completely uncut.
Yes, of
Nothing at
course.
all was cut.
No.
Yes,
we,
yes.
We don't podcast. No.
Anyway. Yeah, so I guess we should probably wrap it up.
We should,
Yes.
I think. Like, reach the end for today.
Yes, yeah, it was a good one. This was Redux, I guess you could say. You fools, this was the second time we've recorded this episode because Oscar's mic was shit.
Yes, it still is, but
Probably better than it was yesterday, the other day.
All right,
Anyway,
next episode.
Next time we'll be covering a certified bop
Hood classic.
classic in the episode Dalek. After that, we'll probably talk about the long game. We'll get to it.
Father's Day as well.
And Father's Day, which
And if we have time, we might squeeze in the empty child and the Doctor Dance. So
yeah, because I mean, we didn't think we'd squeeze in Aliens of London and World War III.
Yeah.
But yeah, we may just squeeze in Empty Child and Doctor Dances. Two very, in my opinion, very strong episodes.
Oh, it shows why Moffat got the job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, actually, the first two Moffat episodes.
Absolutely.
That is.
He had banger after banger.
Yeah, and then like, he's like written some like probably the best episodes of the whole show. So
yeah,
excited to cover him. And yeah. Anyway, well, this has been Time and Space with your hosts Logan and Oscar. We'll be catching you next time. And yeah, cue outro.
See you later, guys.
And oh, by the way, the main theme for us was produced and, well, done by our good friend Ty Southwick of the hit band Subpar Summer. You should totally check us out. I mean, him out.
That's disgusting self-promotion. I'm cutting this.
Shut the fuck up. No, you can't. Don't. Don't.
I'm joking.
You can't delete me.
I will not upgrade.
I will not upgrade.
Yes. Our good
fun.
friend Ty made the theme for us. It's actually a beautiful theme.
Quite well done, yeah. And like, he's a really talented musician, and maybe he's actually a Doctor Who noob. So maybe we'll get him on here sometime. Just get his opinion on some Doctor Who classic episodes.
We'll educate him.
Cybermen intensifies.
Yes, educate.
Educate. No, I don't want to be a nerd.